Won't lie to you, Chief. I've kind of forgotten how to do these. It's like the last proper predictions video we've done was SI this year, and that was a cinematic trailer. So we haven't done a proper analytical predictions breakdown since the Sweden major last year. This channel's never going to recover, man. It's been a crazy year, but if you want to know why we haven't done these in quite a while, then go watch the video I did about how to be an esports analyst. It's 18 minutes of nothing but making excuses, trust me. But we're here for Jonkoping major predictions. If you want to know more about general storylines for each team attending, go watch the video I put up on Monday talking about that, and then come back here, because this video was just talking about my expectations for who's going to make it out of the group stage. And even though we haven't been doing prediction videos for the last two events, I've still been doing predictions on Twitter. And I will take full credit for Dark Zero winning in Charlotte and Rogue having an easy bracket through the playoffs. Like, you think the curse is dead? I think it's just being more selective about who exactly it picks off. So we'll do this video, and then we'll do one more breaking down the playoff bracket once groups are done, so that should probably come out on Thanksgiving if you're an American. Unfortunately, I was not hired to work this major, which means I'm just going to be doing content, but the post-show won't be returning for this event either, which I'm really sorry about. I do have co-streaming rights for the major, but I'm probably going to end up doing some kind of casual discussion post-stream once playdays are done, as opposed to watching the games live or doing any kind of formal post-show. So if you aren't following the Twitch channel already, go ahead and do that. Points over, let's curse some shit. Now, in doing research for this video, I found something interesting. We've been using this major format since Mexico, and counting that event, it's been 4 total using this format. If a team wins their first 2 games in the group stage, whether in regulation or in overtime, they always go on to make playoffs. Every single team that has started 2-0 has qualified for the bracket. Every single one. And just to prove it, BDS, Furia, and Liquid in Mexico, BDS, Damwon, FaZe, NIP, Team 1, and Rogue in Sweden, Astralis and Oxygen in Charlotte, and Elevate, FaZe, Furia, G2, Rogue, Wolves, and W7M in Berlin. If you get a hot start on your first day, you've basically done all the work. That's a joke, but you still get the point. But a 100% success rate doesn't necessarily mean a 100% chance to qualify if you go 2-0. But it got me considering which of these teams would have the best chance of going 2-0 to start their group, and who would have to play more games before officially locking in their spot. So that's how I'm approaching these predictions. Group A is Black Dragon, Cyclops, Eminem, and the Sonics, which I think is a dope group because 3 of these teams have never made it out of a major group stage before, and this is Black Dragon's debut event, so this is going to be a first for some of these guys. I think Sonics are probably the 2-0 team here. Like, even if they haven't made it out of a major group stage yet, Grixer is still dummy consistent on LAN. Their fraggers are amazing when they show up, and I think their backline got bolstered a lot when they added Geo to the team. The other team is a little harder to call. Like, I don't want to overlook Cyclops having one of the best APAC North stages that they've ever had, but that's a team I still don't trust internationally yet. So I'm gonna go with BD. This is probably the team with the highest amount of upset potential given the way their group draw went. If they were in any other group composition, then they would probably get knocked out, but I think there might be some teams that actually underestimate them here. And it's Brazil. We have learned our lesson about underestimating Brazil. Eminem feel like they're a team that's getting better with time, but from what EU league I watched this stage, they just made too many mistakes for me to have confidence in them, so I'm gonna lock in these 2. Group B is Heroic, Liquid, Sandbox, and TSM, which I like because all of them have made different kinds of roster revamps this year and are trying to prove which one of them is better, so this is a pretty good form to do that. Liquid immediately strikes me as the 2-0 team here, both because they look reinvigorated with Lagonis, and Ask and Nesk are being moved around a little bit into spots where I think they're better suited, and because their schedule actually has them playing Sandbox and Heroic as their first 2 games, which I think are probably 2 of the weaker teams in this group, so that helps me think they'll start off hot. But the second team is, again, a hard one to call, and I think it'll be TSM.
Biased analyst alert!
It was a toss-up between them and Sandbox, honestly. Like, you can call the NA bias on me if you feel like it, but I think the fast fixes that Gasher and Snake brought to this team will enable the 3 core members of TSM to shine a lot brighter, especially in a LAN environment, because when they are on, these guys are just some of the best you're ever going to see. There's a reason they won a world championship. And TSM are like a top 6 team on both attack and defense in the world based on stage 3 results, which I think is going to be way better than Sandbox by a mile, assuming they play their cards right. Heroic's kind of the odd man out here. I don't expect too much of them from making 2 roster moves in the same way that I expect a lot from TSM, so I'm not going to hold them to anything. Liquid and TSM for me. Group C, Oh, dude. BDS, Fury, Space Station, and W7M. The question in this group is not who's the better team, but who has the highest chance of losing to Fury. If these three teams were to just keep on dropping points to one another, then I suspect it's going to be relatively even. But if one of them drops points to Fury, then by that point it could already be too far gone, because those are points these three teams desperately need against each other. It's a triple threat match between three equal competitors, and then Fury's that special guest referee that gets in there and delivers a stunner to somebody at the last second. And I think that team is Space Station. I hate saying it, man. Like, I really do. I don't want to pick against Space Station. I love this team, but like, they're the top defensive team in the world after stage 3, but their attacking statistic is not nearly the same. And it feels like they sacrificed what they could have done on attack to make their defenses so much better. And W7M and BDS are just way more balanced across the board. And they're also both strong defensive teams. So if Space Station can't attack, that might be the thing Fury could exploit the most. I just really don't have a reason to discount W7M or BDS as much. Like, I think if there was a 2-0 team, it's probably W7M, but that's more impossible to call than trying to figure this group out. So I'm rooting against my prediction on this one, man. I want to be wrong. Like, and I'm giving you free Twitter impressions, so you better be clipping this. And Group D is Dire Wolves, FaZe, Mirage, and Wolves. This one is ultimately the easiest one to call, but we'll still go through it just for fairness' sake. It should be FaZe and Wolves. Not the Dire kind, the Wolverhampton kind. But I actually don't know if a 2-0 is possible in this group, because both of them play each other on day one. I guess maybe inherently I lean a little bit more towards FaZe because I think they're going to go ballistic at this major to get back to the finals, but I also don't think Wolves are any slouch. DW, I would love to see play a little bit of spoiler here because Reaps and ED are both going to be there, and evidently Reaps is the Chinese equivalent to Spoit, but the reality for a team like Mirage is less encouraging. They just haven't figured attacks out yet. Defensively, they were stupid good in stage 3 and shot everyone's expectations dead, but even with Dexter's travel experience and him having been dual land before with SSG, I really just don't see it happening here. Though, here's the thing. This is where it can get really tricky. I think 99% of people probably have FaZe and Wolves getting out of this group, which makes it prime real estate for upsets if either one of them somehow doesn't show up on a particular day. If you love underdogs, then pay attention to this group because there's two of them. Mirage is playing with literally nothing to lose because they can't qualify for SI, but Dire Wolves actually still have an SI qualification chance on the line, so this one's going to be good. So these are the 8 teams I think are going to playoffs. I'm not going to seed them or anything, and I'm not saying that teams that get 2-0 in a group are destined to immediately get to the first seed for some reason. Like, I don't think that's how it's going to be. I'm not ranking them based on that. I hate not predicting any APAC teams to make it through, but if Elevate or Dom1 aren't here, then it's a lot harder to justify the risk of picking them, just given the groups they got slotted into. I think I'm probably right on like 6 of these. I'm not going to say which 6, but just Rainbow 6. I know you've been prepping disagreements for me in the comments this whole time, so do it. Drop them. Smart guy. Put them in there. I'm especially curious if anybody has other justifications or logic for why some of the teams I didn't pick actually might make it out of their own group. So put them in there, and if I like them, I'll give you something. Winner gets a hoodie. I'm kidding. Head up my Twitter, my Twitch, and this YouTube channel for more major coverage over the next week and a half or so, please, and thank you. And if you're not following the Twitch channel, go do it because we will be live there over the course of next week. So, yeah, that's it. I'll see you later, I guess. Bye.